seen massive changes in our planetary Earth system. We're seeing extreme weather shocks, whether it's intense droughts, tornadoes, and cyclonic activity, heat waves, etc. I mean, right now on the planet, there's major wildfires outside of the wildfire season in California. There's major shocks in other parts of the country, planet. The UN reports at least one major shock per week on our planet. Now, we just come out of our worst drought in our history. We normally have a 3-year cycle of drought in South Africa. Our drought is now in its 6th year in the context of a 1 degree Celsius increase. So there is a connection and a level of attribution. At 1.5 degrees, the climate scientists are telling us that in our region, because of climatological conditions being south of the equator and so on, but also because of a lack of socio-ecological systems and preparedness, heating at 1.5 will translate in climate terms to 3 degrees. And that's going to have devastating consequences for basic life supporting systems. Our agricultural systems are going to be placed under immense stress. Studies have shown that livestock cannot handle such heat. Crops that we have, particularly staples, also cannot handle such heat, etc. We're also going to have major challenges for our social supporting systems. Like we've seen now during COVID-19, our healthcare systems are going to be challenged. And we're going to see disproportionate impacts on poor people, particularly. So that's the kind of picture that's coming from the climate science.
Now, are people taking this seriously? I mean, are we changing our behaviors? Really, what we seem to experience is a knee-jerk reaction to crises as they pop up, whether it is COVID-19 or droughts or, any of the other climate-related things that affect the earth. Are people taking the sustainable route seriously and changing behavior?
So there's two issues here. The one is that we've had almost 3 decades of multilateral negotiations through the UN around this problem, including international climate science. The UN is going into what is called its 6th reporting cycle on the climate science. But consistently over the past 3 decades, actually, and even before, actually James Hansen in 1988 went to the U.S. Congress. He was a NASA-based scientist, and he raised the alarm loud based on science that they had, that this is a global and a serious problem. But since then, I mean, study after study, despite people jetting to these UN meetings, South Africa hosted the COP in 2011. There has been a failure to secure a global agreement that can address the root causes of the problem. The root causes of the problem relates to the extraction and the use of oil, coal, and gas, and that's the causal factor here, and the extent to which it is implicated in other sectors of our economies and our societies, what is called carbonization. Now, this UN process has been complicated by various things. The U.S. government has refused consistently over the past 3 decades to lock into a proper agreement. Obama's pledge and review mechanism, which became the Paris Climate Agreement, is already stillborn. Most countries have not pledged sufficiently to prevent an overshoot of even 2 degrees Celsius. So we really have a crisis of leadership in the multilateral system. Now, despite that, of course, in national context, there have been major struggles going on, climate justice movements. In 2010, there was a major summit of movements in Cochabamba in Bolivia, the only climate justice state in the world system. And those movements have been pushing hard. You've had other struggles. You've had the children, Greta Thunberg and the Fridays for Future movement are waking up the global debate. In South Africa, we have our climate justice charter process, etc. So this is a big challenge to ensure that everybody owns the problem and understands that to solve this problem, we need deep systemic transformation. We are at a turning point. If we do not make that breakthrough now, we are going to be in danger as a species of even going extinct. I mean, that's how serious it is.
Dr. Satgar, you're speaking to us right now about the macro changes that need to come from governmental levels, huge discussions and negotiations on an international level that have been taking place, and it needs action behind it. But what about the auntie in Overport that's listening today, or the emerging businessman in Polokwane, or somebody here in Gauteng, for example, in the heart of the economy? What can the ordinary person do to assist and help prevent this, climate disaster?
So there's two things. I mean, I think the first is at an individual level, we should all attempt to understand the science, and I'd appeal to your listeners to go to our webpage, the South African Food Sovereignty Campaign webpage, www.safsc.org.za, where we put out a whole set of resources to understand what is climate change, what is climate science, and we've done it very, very simply. And I think that's the first very, very important thing that we all have to do is really inform ourselves, educate ourselves, and so on. I think the second thing that we have to understand is that while we all have to make behavior change and ask questions about our electricity supply and where we're getting it from, ask questions about how we use water in our society because we're very wasteful about a very essential resource like that, and so on, where do we get our food from? Is it coming from miles and miles away, or should we start thinking about local food systems, etc.? So while individual behavior change is going to be important and localized change is going to be important, we also need to think about what is driving these problems, what is called systemic change, what we call the systemic lock-in. And this is where we have to do politics as citizens. We have to claim our right to survive and live in a stable world. And that means we're going to have to challenge government. We have to challenge corporations that are driving these problems and so on. And that means together we have to rise up and we have to be heard. And that's why we're going to Parliament on October 16th, where we're going to be presenting the Climate Justice Charter. The Climate Justice Charter comes out of 6 years of campaigning around hunger, because during the drought, food prices went up and it affected everybody, particularly the poor in our society. Many communities, the drought impacted, they never had water to survive and so on, and it's still ongoing. So we are going to Parliament to say end hunger, end water stress, and end pollution or climate harm. And we invite the public to endorse our charter. We have a petition going out. The more people that support this means that they are supporting the systems change that can protect all of us. The food systems we need to build, the water systems we need to build, the healthcare systems, a universal basic income for everybody. So there are answers to this problem, both to decarbonize or lower carbon emissions, while at the same time prepare the society so that we can handle what's coming. So that's definitely on the agenda.
And finally, Doctor, you write about where have all the flowers gone, about the Bedou Valley, the rolling valleys, the fells, the mountains, the breathtaking color on the west coast, the Cedarburg and other parts of the country, right into the Kruger National Park. What will we see? What will happen to our land? This beautiful, colorful tapestry that we have in South Africa and other parts of the world also. What will happen if we don't make these changes?
So our ecosystems will die, basically. So we've seen during the drought where the soil hardens. I mean, I've traveled around the country during the drought as well, and met with communities and so on. And, the soil hardens, you see the stresses in the trees and the plants, and ecosystems collapse. At such high temperatures, our biodiversity loss is going to increase. So the wildflowers are going to disappear. Initially we'll see seasonal changes. So instead of them appearing maybe in August or September, they'll probably appear in July. We'll have shorter winters. All of this is going to happen. But we can prevent this from getting worse. And I think that's our message. Our message is that if we act now, like we stop pushing for offshore extraction of oil and gas by total, we move away from dependence on coal and Eskom. We really push renewable energy. The technology is there, it's cheaper, etc. There are easy solutions, sustainable solutions within reach. And we need our politicians, we need all of our society to be championing these. And this is what the Climate Justice Charter is about. We don't want a future where the flowers die, where the animals we coexist would die, and so on. And of course, ourselves. So this is a life and death struggle, and we need to all rise to this challenge now.
Dr. Vishwas Satgar, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for once again giving us the warnings about what we could face if we don't manage to change our behavior. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
After all these years, millions of Syrian refugees and displaced persons are still struggling to get adequate food and nutrition. Since 2014, the Al-Imdad Foundation's Flour for Syria campaign has provided daily bread to these Syrians. For just 5,000 Rand, you can sponsor 1 ton of flour and ensure that 10,000 pita loaves are delivered to desperate Syrian communities. Part donations are also accepted. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Fabric Direct, now open at 224 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban, offering you a variety of dress fabrics, curtaining, upholstery, wallpaper, and deco. Fabric Direct, quality, price, and a range that speaks for itself. 224 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban. Fabric Direct, definitely worth a visit.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today and...
Broker? Did the broker tell you that our economy is a mess? There's bushfires in Australia, America wanted World War III, and now the coronavirus is traveling around the world.
Well, I also thought about purchasing some crypto.
Crypto? What's that, like another pyramid scheme? I don't trust what I can't see.
There's an apartment in Belito.
So all your family will be asking to stay there for free. And what if the government takes it away, eh?
Dad, I don't think it works like that.
I'll tell you what works. Gold. At your age, I invested in gold coins and it paid for your university fees and your wedding. No contracts, no agreements. Your investment is in your hands and you own it. With a 70% growth in only 5 years, do you still doubt gold investment? Contact RJ Coin today, 031 202 4701, or visit them at 151 Stephen Lamini Road in Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Yes, and as we go into the final 20 minutes or so of the program, it's just time to take the financial indicators with Nafisa Saider of Randery Jewelers. Assalamu alaikum, Nafisa. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you, Brother Azhar?
Alhamdulillah, I'm keeping well. What's the numbers like today?
So the rand fell yesterday as investors dumped the currency ahead of GDP data being published today. The dollar is steadily gaining momentum as the European Central Bank meeting comes into focus. The rand started Tuesday on weaker terrain, currently at 16.71 against the